Welcome to the Know Your Rights Camp podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Mariela Regalado. I am from the Dominican Republic, raised in Brooklyn. I joined the camp as the Know Your Education speaker in 2016, and I am a college and career counselor.
TJ Estandian, San Francisco, California-based youth development coordinator and a Know Your Rights Camp volunteer since 2018.
Our mission is to advance the liberation and well-being of Black and Brown communities through education, self-empowerment, mass mobilization, and the creation of new systems that elevate the next generation of change leaders. And today we have with us one of those change leaders, Mr. Sean Tory.
Thank you. What's up?
And we're honored to present Sean Tory. We did some research.
Okay.
And what do we find on him? Do you want to read our stats?
Yeah, well, he has a Bachelor's of Science in Human Development and Family Studies from the University of Nevada at Reno.
Wolfpack, gang.
Yeah.
Yep.
Master's of Science, Marriage and Family Therapy. We got to talk about that.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Marriage and Family Therapy program from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
It's just an understanding between me and UNLV. Proceed.
And a current PhD student for the curriculum instruction with a concentration in cultural studies, international education, and multicultural education at UNLV.
Yeah, it's just an understanding contract. It's Wolfpack for all my Wolfpack family.
And we are here today, literally on the campus of College of Southern Nevada, where you are the Campus Life Development Coordinator and Senior Business Analyst.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, congratulations.
Man, thank you.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And congratulations on what we're doing here today, because from my understanding, you manifested
I did.
These moments.
Well, can I say something one time? Out of the things that you said, the most thing I'm proud of is that I'm a father of two daughters, Imani and Imara. I love them.
Shout out to Imani and Imara.
Yeah, shout out to my daughters, man, and you shout out to the wifey, to my fiance.
Yes, can't forget about the fiance.
We get married in July, so you know.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We're invited now, right?
I mean, if y'all going to Jamaica, then get it popping. Let's go.
So you're born, bred Las
Yeah.
Vegas. So
Yeah.
talk to us about the significance, because when we think about Las Vegas, we think strip, we think casino,
Day parties.
Day parties. Yeah, that's the part that when I first met with the for the camps, like with Jay and Tone and everyone, I asked them, I was like, how many of y'all been to Vegas? Like, oh, we've been to Vegas all the time. I was
We
like,
love Vegas.
We love Vegas. I was like, nah, how many of y'all actually been outside the strip? You've been to the strip, you never been to Vegas. And they were quiet for the remaining of the whole meeting, because then I started dropping stats about what's been happening in Vegas.
What are those
stuff like
stats?
that.
What should we know? What's happening here?
So what's happening? I actually talk about this in my presentation, right? So let's talk about the population. I'll just say for Black students, right? At Clark County School District, Black students make up 15% of the school district, but for juvenile justice, we make up 39%.
Now,
numbers don't add up, right?
Is that stat the same when you were growing up here? Has it gotten worse? Has it gotten better?
It's gotten worse, and it's gotten worse. But we've always been heavily overpopulated. Like, I used to work for this nonprofit called Nevada Partners, and I used to go up to Spring Mountain, which is one of the juvie camps, and I used to go to Caliente, where all the kids were locked up, and I see where most of the Black kids that I either mentored or I've seen, they end up there, right? But that's something that's unfortunately been the common thread, the school to prison pipeline, and they bring that up often, the school to prison pipeline,
right.
and then they enact certain things. They enact certain things to help negate that. But then, is anything really changing? No, the numbers are still the same. But then you look here. I work for the College of Southern Nevada, where you only have 8% of students, Black students, graduating, and for Black men, only 2% of them graduating. I'm one of 12 Black males, administrative faculty and faculty. I'm one of the 12 Black men. And then out of those 12, there's only 2 of us who are millennials. Right. And then out of those 12, you only have 4 or 5 of them who are faculty professors. So it's like the ratios don't add up. Like, the representation isn't there. And that's another part that's important for access, because if you don't see it, then how am I supposed to know that it's obtainable too? And
how do we get them here? Because you're here, the idea is always to open that door, right? So what are you doing right now, if you can share, to facilitate?
Of course.
That?
So what I do here outside of CSN, I'm also a co-founder of the mentorship program called King of Jewels that focuses on working with young black and brown young men. Of course, we open it to everyone, but that's our main focus. We were definitely in the schools for a long time, helping with Gear Up, getting the students connected. I sent a lot of kids up to Cap and I's on Lamar UNR. I sent them to CSN because my thing, or HBCUs, I sent a lot of kids off to school over the years.
That's awesome.
But that's part of it, is building that network and building that village. So a lot of kids, I would meet kids senior year, didn't know what the difference between a weighted or unweighted GPA was.
Right.
Didn't know like what criteria
to even be in college.
Found out too late about Gear Up. Found out too late about Upper Bound and all these other programs. And it's like, well, how do we get them connected to access?
How do we get them in that door?
How do we get them to the door? And that's what my thing is. Like, all right, if it's too late for you here, I'm gonna find another way to get you to what you need. So like programs like Nevada Promise is if you do the program your senior year, you apply for it. Your first 2 year of college at a community college is free in the state of Nevada. But many of these kids, they don't like the criteria or what to do for it. They don't know about it.
And I also noticed just by filling out their FAFSA, their Pell Grant will pay.
Yes, the Pell Grant will pay. Yep.
CSN.
Yep, it will pay for CSN as well.
So you know a younger version of Colin Kaepernick prior to the fro.
Bring out the stories.
When bro had Sean John shorts on.
This is undergrad, yeah?
Undergrad.
So
yeah.
what was he like? I mean,
He was, honestly, bro was always cool, right? Let me be real. But he was always smart, but no one knew that. Like, I found out through the back end. So I met, because I was a freshman, he was a junior. And when I met him, it was because of one of his pro fights, because he's a Kappa, I'm an Alpha, but he's a Kappa. And before he became a noob, we met each other at a party. And then I seen him one day at the library. I was just like, bro, what you doing in the library? Like, all right, well, cool. We studied. He's smart. We studied. Then we had a conversation. Just about life. And I was like, oh, bro's tapped in. He ain't just, because I used to play football too. So you know how those talks go in the locker room.
Right.
But I didn't play football in college, but that's how we initially met. Then when he became a noob, he was like, hey, bro, you should definitely. I was like, nah, I'm good. But but over the summer, I stayed up there because I did summer school and I had to work. I had to work my way. I had 3 jobs and all that. But then I would kick it with his pro fight was one of my close friends. He's from Vegas too. So I would go kick it with them at his house, and we would go to Lake Tahoe, and it was so many stories. But one of the best stories I'll tell y'all, Cap is such a humble dude. He's so chill. He won't even tell you. So there was a time I was super broke, like most college students.
Yeah,
right?
like most of us. That's like a requirement to be in college, right?
One day he had this Panda Express. He didn't want to eat it. And I was like, hey, bro, I got you on that. He was like, I didn't want to waste it either. All right, cool. And then he saw I ate that, and I was like,
what was the order?
It was noodle. It was yummy and some orange chicken. He didn't know I was struggling. I never told him. But once a week, he would buy me Panda.
Wow.
But he would mask it as if I just left it. But he would buy me Panda every Wednesday, not knowing that I was on food stamps. And then after the food stamps ran off, like that's all I had. Cap? So Cap, that we were connected that way. Then found out he was adopted. Then we talked about that. Then he went off to the league. But he would come back and show us the 49er workouts. So I would work out with him. He would get triple workout with us. So it sounds like
he was a mentor.
He was. Like, it was like a mentor for me. He was big bro for me. And it kind of makes me emotional. He don't know this, but I got a gift for him because I just never been able to give him anything because
to thank him like
exactly.
How important all that was.
I never got the chance to, because the last time I physically saw him in college was he came out. He was still back up to Alex Smith.
So you want Vegas, you want Vegas KYRC to happen.
Yeah, at the time I wasn't in a position to make it happen. I wasn't at the time, but I said to myself, all right, because I was already doing other stuff. I said, all right, one day I'm going to reach out. When it's time, I'm going to reach out to Cap and I'm going to make it happen.
That's the beautiful part about manifesting.
So when the time came, because at this point I didn't have Raymond Santana Jr. up here from one of Central Park 5. I didn't have Dame Dash. So what's funny? The same day we're having the camp, same day last year is when I had Dame Dash.
Wow.
Crazy.
So the connections kept happening leading up to this event.
So then as I'm getting ready for Dame Dash, I was like, all right, I got the opportunity. Stuff's about to open up. He ain't had a camp in a minute. Let me reach out. So of course I knew Cap changed his number. I shared it anyway. So didn't work. I reached out to his line brother, Brandon Marshall. I was like, yo, B, tell Cap I'm trying to bring the Know Your Rights Cap here. And then he was like, I got you. Tell him I just need to get to his assistant. I got a proposal, all that. Gave me the assistance, boom, talked to Cap, gave me the info, sent the email, met with his email, and I guess his assistant was like, yo, there's a lot of people who always say, hey, we know Cap.
Right.
Right.
But this guy's legit. Put him through.
Yeah,
He
he legit was like, hey, Sean Tory? Yeah, set up a meeting. I was like,
Orange chicken, John Tory?
Low key, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a blessing. Like, those friendships don't hit, like those, you've been years, right, that we've seen each other, but those type of bonds that we've had many stories I can tell you, but those memories and how you're good to people, folks, how you make people feel, they will never forget.
Absolutely.
So that's why I tell people, I'm like, listen, Cap is a homie to me. So like, when you're good to people, you're good to people. Like, I know Cap, when it's just Cap, he just chill dude. You know what I'm saying?
No, and those are all important values and elements and memories. And I want to talk about your current role here at the school.
At the school, yes.
What would you say is the most important thing that you want your students to not only learn from you, but to walk away with? Because you walked away with a lot of, you have mentorship, you have community involvement.
Yeah.
It sounds like you were always kind of boots to the ground kind of person.
Always been.
So what do you want your students to walk away with? And how do you use your role to get them there?
My biggest thing is follow your bliss. It's a great phrase by Joseph Campbell. I love philosophy. I love mythology, right? So follow your bliss talks about your passion. And when you have a passion for something, you love it so much, it doesn't cost money. It doesn't, all this stuff I do for free. It don't even matter. And I've been mentoring kids for so long that it led me here. Right. And one of the things I tell them is follow what you love. It's going to come back full circle. Be invested. Because I promise you, every single job I've gotten is because I've mentored the CEO or the director's kid or cousin. And they're like, yo, you need to be over here. And it led me that way. But when you have a passion for something, it turns to compassion. Like, you know that do you know what that COM stands for in compassion? No. Y'all know what that means?
No, what does it stand for? It
stands for community.
Community.
So when you love something so much, you do it for everybody. It don't matter what. But I've been mentoring kids.
And you do it for free too. You mentioned that part. You're like, I'm gonna do it anyways because it's in my heart.
It's in my heart. Like there's days where I used to, for my fraternity, we have a youth group called the Alpha Man Divas of Tomorrow, and I used to teach the kids how to step. And for years,
I know how to step.
You know how to step?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna teach you later. You'll see.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty hot in these streets still. I'm retired, but anyway. But like for years, I mentored these kids in the back of my old high school, teaching them, getting ready for performances, taking them here, traveling wherever, right? Taking them on college tours.
And that's not by any means necessary attitude. Like, we're gonna make it happen.
We're gonna find
the place.
And like I've sent so many kids off to HBCUs and all these regular schools, just any PWI, that I've seen them also pledge their sorority or fraternity. I'm just like, pave it forward, right? Because I remember when I'm the only kid for me and my parents, right? And I didn't have access until my older god sister, she introduced me to the youth group that I ended up mentoring later and then joining the frat. Like, those things right there.
It sounds like you either created community or you found community in every aspect of your life so far.
And it just felt like, honestly, God-given, bro. I can't even tell you that I knew this was going to happen, but once I found it, you know that feeling once you know this is what you're supposed to do?
Things click into place.
That's
Even
what
if
happened.
it's not at that moment, you know it's going to happen.
That's what happened.
Absolutely.
Every time.
As a black man who grew up in Las Vegas working in education, how do you get the youth to make the shift in mindset from not just surviving, but also thriving in educational spaces?
Lead by example and also put them in position. Right, access and opportunity, because part of it is like, you can watch me do it all day, but if I'm not giving you an opportunity, or if I'm not showing you how to really do this, or how to get there, like I'll show you the door, you got to go through it. Right. You know what I'm saying? But
you got to do the work.
You got to do the work.
You open the door. You open the door. Them,
like what?
But you got to get to work.
I get the chance to where I can hire 7 to 10 work study kids, and even if you can't work for me, I'm gonna put you in a place to where you can work. So there are times where I'll leave my office and take you where you need to go. And if I don't know something, we're going to find out together, bro. You know what I'm saying? But those are the things, that's how I do it, personally. And because they look at me like, sometimes they think I'm a regular student. Sometimes I'll wear the bow tie and the suit and stuff.
I mean, you're fly. They're probably like, hey, what's up?
Man, listen.
You're in my philosophy class.
Thank you. They think I am a student because I'm a PhD student. Right. But they're looking like, dog, you run this whole building? Wait, you do this? Hold up. How are you able to? They start asking questions, and they're like, dog, you tatted from head to literally to toe. And they're like, how could, looking at you, how could you?
This is also a professional. How do you I can be a professional
how you represent education looking like this? Right. They have an image. And I'm like, bro, I'm professional. I can go to 10 toes down with the best of them. And I'm already 20 steps ahead. You have to be, especially for us of color. You have to be.
And that's what's about. Creation, new systems, and changing those mindsets.
Have to, yes.
Critical race theory in the state of Nevada. Why do you think white folks are so scared of critical race theory being taught to our youth?
Sorry for you, but the truth is the truth. I can't. There's no time. We gotta stop.
Can't change the history.
We can't change the history. It happened. Like there's people who legit try to water down 373 years of captivity. How can you water down 373 years of captivity? So the way you punchline it, for one, I'm all for critical race theory. If y'all haven't noticed, ladies and gentlemen, but the way I make it real for people, I say, hey, where's your last name come from? They'd be like, oh, well, I'm Scottish, I'm this, I'm that.
Well, your last name is Tory.
Yeah, it's a slave name. And it's also a political party. Where do you think it come from? We were slaves in both Georgia and in Florida. My family owns the land that we were slaves on.
Wow.
My great great grandfather, Alec Tory, helped start the Second Baptist Church in Georgia. My father grew up in the house, all this land that we own, like in this little house, but all this land. That's where my father grew up with 16 brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like, so so to tell me, how is that water? How can you not agree with race theory, but then you sit here and paint MLK and shout out to the frat, paint Malcolm X, James Baldwin. You like to quote them, but they're part of critical race theory too.
And at some point we have to sit and think about it where we're already learning about those things. It's just called a different name.
Is it called a different name?
And
exactly.
for a lot of us, our first time even knowing about critical race theory was when we get to college.
Yeah,
sometimes where we take Africana studies, we take women's studies, we take all these different classes.
And then you learn 17 years
of finally
right,
bro.
that put in front of us.
And so imagine getting that in the first grade. Like, no, you have the right to know your history as one of our
and
points.
Not just in February.
It is
right, not just February, not just Hispanic Heritage Month, but all year
long,
early on, where it's not just you're discovering yourself in college, if you got the chance to go to college, but you're discovering yourself and knowing your history and being confident and embracing what that means and how, you are choosing to represent that as well. Mm-hmm. Now, we want to thank you so much for sharing all this information with us.
Not a problem.
I think we want to know what you hope to accomplish in the camp. You are the Know Your Education speaker.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what you want the students, the campers to walk away with? What do you want them to capture when you are doing your presentation? Mm-hmm. What do you want them to walk away with?
I want them to connect with themselves again. So like I do restorative justice approach. I'm sure you guys know about restorative justice.
For those of us who don't know, how would you put that simply?
So restorative justice is an appropriated approach to education, right? Let's be clear. It's appropriated by our indigenous folks of New Zealand, of African countries like Ghana, Nigeria, even Southern America. This is appropriated practice that Americans took a piece of and created a whole approach to it. That's the quick way. There's 4 different elements to restorative justice. You have restorative justice education, restorative justice practices, and restorative circles. I wanted to do circles, and because Pat and Jay and Tone saw me, I had the men's room, so I was getting ready to do an event with all these black men doing a community-based restorative work, and I was like, yo, I want to do a circle, but I can only do pieces and pieces of it. So I say that the reason why you do restorative justice and restorative circles is because there's healing needed. These students don't feel safe at school. Not only that, they don't feel that this is a safe haven or a place that they can truly be their authentic selves, be vulnerable. And with what I do with circles is bring you back to that, right? On top of everything you're trying to learn as well. So I like to really bring us back to healing and actually restoring, because there's a lot to restore. There are a lot of students have been hurt by folks that we call quote unquote educators. And that's why for me, I really hope to restore education. That's actually the title of my presentation. And I did that purposefully.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Our Know Your Education and Community Manifester, Mr. Sean Tory.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you guys. Thank you. Blessings.
My name is Mariela Regalado.
My name is TJ Estandian.
And we know our rights.
My name is Sean Tory, and I know my rights.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mariela.
I'm TJ.
And if you like what you heard here today, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe.